Hello and welcome to this interesting and exciting class on the topic of 7 relationships by FyndFlow. I'm your host Shubham. I'm also the founder of this company called FyndFlow. I'm pretty sure whenever you hear the word relationship, the one thought that strikes your head is I'm maybe talking about the relationship with your lover, your partner, or your spouse. Some of you might be intelligent enough to understand that I'm talking about the relationship with your parents. But I am so sure that none of you know that there are 7 relationships that exist. And in today's video, I'm going to introduce you to all of these 7 relationships and their significance in our lives. You see, everything that we do in our lives revolves around experiences. But do you think that experiences can occur without any other person involved? It can also be an object, but there has to be another entity that has to be interacting with us for us to actually experience these emotions, right? Yes. And whenever we are interacting with these entities, objects, or people, or living beings, we are creating an invisible bond or an invisible connection with them. That is what I am referring to as a relationship here. Now we can widely put almost all our interactions into 7 brackets. Okay, we are going to look into what these 7 are, and slowly over a period of time I'm going to even share with you some resources, some tools and tricks on how you can optimize all of these relationships to live a life filled with purpose, clarity, and achieve that peace that you have been looking for. You don't have to be a robot anymore. You don't have to be working according to your environment anymore. You will have the freedom of choice. You will know that your choice is in your control and you can achieve anything that you set your mind to. Okay, now without any further ado, let me get started and let's dive into the mind map, which will take us into all of these 7 relationships. And I will also talk about what are the correlations of these relationships to our chakras. For those of you who don't understand chakras, these are basically energy centers in our bodies. Okay, these are located in very important areas of our body which are operated by very important organs. And each of these chakras emanates either a negative emotion or a positive emotion. And we are going to look through this course, how can we actually transform the negative emotion into the positive emotion by applying the 7 relationships framework. Now, let's get started. Now, the first relationship that we have is the relationship of a servant leader. Now, what exactly do I mean by servant leader, right? See, in the relationship between a servant leader or a servant master, the servant is the follower. Their duty is to follow the instructions of the master, and they surrender themselves onto the master or the leader, knowing that they will guide them on a path of enlightenment, of fulfilling their purpose, or fulfilling their needs for survival. But there is an element of complete respect and a lot of trust that is being imparted by the servant onto the leader. Now, moving on, we have the second relationship. The second relationship is one of my favorites, and I'm pretty sure we all have a favorite in the friendship zone, right? So, friendship is the second relationship. As we transcend from the base, we move on to the second relationship. We find the relationship of friendship. Now, what is the difference between friendship and servant leader? See, servant leader might not necessarily have friendships involved, but friendships always will have servant leadership involved. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, within 2 friends, one friend might be leading the other friend sometimes, and vice versa. Okay, that is what friendships are based upon. Sometimes you're bringing them chocolates, sometimes you're bringing them water. Like, it can be the minimum, most serving that you do to your friend, but you are always serving your friend, or the friend is serving you. So the servant leader is actually inclusive in the friendship, but the friendship is not necessarily inclusive in the servant leader. Okay, now moving on to the third one, we have the relationship of the parent and the child. Now, within the parent child, some people unfortunately do not have their parents. Uh, they might have lost them to some kind of a tragedy. That's completely normal. That's completely fine. A lot of people have it going on in their lives. But what I mean by parent child relationship is someone who is in the parent figure. It can be your family members also, it can be a guardian also, but someone who is in the parental authoritative figure along with you, who might be acting as a child. Sometimes it's possible that you might be acting as a parent and you might have children as well. So the parent child relationship revolves around this. Now, what is again different in this relationship? If you see, in the parent child relationship also, you can be friends. You have to be friends. After a certain point of age, you have to necessarily be friends. You are always serving them, or the children are serving you in some way or the other, and you are always leading, or sometimes even the children are leading. Okay, but if you see, the servant leader does not necessarily have to be a parent child, the friend does not necessarily have to be a parent child relationship, but the parent child can be both of these. Okay, now let's move on to the fourth relationship, and this is where I'm pretty sure a lot of you struggle. Okay, this is the relationship between a lover and a partner. Now, when I say a lover and partner, what is exactly happening here is that there might be some areas and aspects of your life that you don't feel comfortable sharing with your parents, even with your friends, maybe. And when I talk about all of these relationships, I'm talking about ideal case scenarios. So please take that into account. So, in the lover partner dynamic or the relationship, you are able to be completely naked in front of them. You can possibly be naked in front of your parents also, because when you were a kid, you were obviously naked in front of them. But I'm talking about being naked metaphorically here. What I'm trying to convey through the word naked is being open, being vulnerable, and showing your true self in front of another person, knowing very well that they can use it against you, but still taking that risk, because there is that element of love, and then allowing them to help you learn things about yourself that you might not be able to see from inside the jar. If you got my reference, then what I'm talking about here is, let's say you were inside a jar. You can't see what's on the label, right? Because you're inside the jar. But someone outside can tell you what exactly is on the label. So this is where the lover partner relationship is super duper helpful, and it's like so critically important for one to grow. Okay, now let's move on to the fifth relationship, and this relationship most of you, I'm pretty sure, have not even thought about. This is the relationship that you have with yourself. Okay, so with yourself, we have like this, in this world, in this material physical world, not just this material physical world, actually in all the worlds that you exist, you always have a relationship with yourself. But most of the people end up ignoring this relationship with the self, and because of this ignorance, they feel depressed, they feel like they can't express themselves, their emotions, they feel misunderstood. The core reason is they haven't understood themselves. They haven't sat down and figured out why are they alive on this planet, what is their purpose, what is their mission, what is their mission, why are they here. Okay, and because of this, a lot of people live lives as if they were robots. And trust me, when the AI revolution becomes even more stronger and the robots become powerful, it's not us trying to become robots that is going to make us stand out and win the fight or the war, but it is the ability that we have to stay human, stay connected, and fulfill these relationships that is actually going to make us feel fulfilled and happy in life. Okay, now let's move on to the sixth relationship. It's the relationship with a guru. And I know a lot of you might be traumatized by the kind of gurus that you see online. Let me be very clear, and honest. I'm not one of these gurus, okay? I fall in the servant leader category because when I speak about guru, what I am trying to convey is a spiritual master, is someone who is going to connect you to the divine, is someone who is so experienced and knowledgeable that just by looking at them, you know that this is your connection to the divine. This person is going to help you understand the divine. This person is going to reveal the divine to you because they have seen it. And a lot of people claim that they are so called gurus, and because of that, we have somewhere traumatized ourselves towards this entire notion of, a guru. But it's my humble request, you really, really need a guru in life. This is one of the most critical relationships in your life. And I will explain to you why in a next video. When we actually dive into the entire course, I'm going to talk about why these relationships are important, what are the positive emotions attached with all of these relationships, what are the negative emotions attached with these relationships, what action you need to take in this relationship to transform the negative emotion into the positive emotion, and so on and so forth. So it's going to be filled with so much value and fun. And I've tried my level best to gamify it for you, so I hope that you enjoy this. Okay, now the seventh and the topmost relationship, the relationship without which we wouldn't be here in this world, is the relationship with God. And when I say the word God, a lot of you might talk about the universe, the creator. It can be a personality, it can be the divine energy, it can be any reference of your choice, because it's beyond our comprehension. Imagine that you were a painting and you were made with just two colors. And if I were to ask you what all colors exist, I do not think you will be able to tell me what colors exist apart from the combination of those two spectrums. But God, in this metaphorical representation or example, is the painter who has access to all the paints, all the colors. We are in a world which is limited, which is based on logic, which is defined like a cube or a cylinder. It's defined, it has boundaries. So we feel safe when we operate within these definitions. But for God, logic does not exist. Definitions don't exist. The laws of nature are created by God. So imagine what we are talking about here. So this is the seventh relationship. Now, what exactly is our goal? What do we want to do? What we want to do is we want to figure out in our lives, where exactly are we? Which stage are we in? And according to that stage, which relationship do we need to focus on at this given moment of time? Which relationships do we make our priority? How do we make them our priority? What actions do we take in those relationships so that the quality of those relationships improves? Okay, so that is exactly what we will be diving in this course. So I would urge you that if you resonate with this idea of the 7 relationships, then please support us by joining the community. Okay, it's priced at, it's 990 rupees per year at this given point in time. This is Jan 2024. The prices might increase in the coming future, but at this point of time, that's the price. Okay, in this community, you will find people who are aligned to this idea, and everyone holds each other accountable in teams and groups and partnerships, and they help each other to grow and fulfill and balance all of these 7 relationships in their life, so that you can have a more clear understanding of why you're here, you can fulfill your purpose, and you can live a life filled with meaning, and you can achieve the joy and peace that you have been craving for. Okay, now I will see you in the next video, where we will dive into the nitty-gritties of the servant leader or the servant master relationship. What exactly are the positive and the negative emotions? Which chakra is it associated with? What actions do we need to take, and how do we evolve in this relationship? Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, I'm Shubham, and thank you for watching.